Hey guys, it's Kerry Creation and we are doing character art today. It is 2025, I haven't uploaded a video yet, but let's dive right into it with the animation for the new start of my videos. I don't do animations very much, and time-wise I took a long time to work on this, and I don't have a lot of free time anymore because, as I've mentioned in previous videos and in posts, I had a baby at the start of this year, which means time is so precious. But basically I figured I would try and figure out how to make a simple looped animation to start off videos, a new one for 2025. So I started with a photo of my desk setup that I could use to put in all the details for the background image that I wanted. I didn't have time to sit there and sketch it out myself, so you know what? It's a photo I took and I sketched over it. It's my desk, it's my setup. I've done so much in the artistic process of setting up my desk and my space. It's good enough, as far as I'm concerned. You might call it cheating a little bit, but you know what? I put in the effort. I feel enough. It was, for a quick project that was meant to be quick, it actually took a really long time, but I started out by kind of sketching the very rough idea of what I wanted, which was my character sitting at the desk and just doodling on my tablet. So I basically went in at this point and started essentially just drawing in the entire background that wouldn't be moving at all, which includes, my gaming chair, my desk, all of that sort of stuff. Part of the reason why I wanted a new opening for this year is because I think it's just nice and refreshing to have a new, I guess, aesthetic each year, but also my old intro, if you've ever watched those videos, is my bird Alexi, who very sadly got sick at the start of this year and passed, and it was just a little too sad for me to keep using her image at the start of my videos, so I really wanted to have something new, and I thought it would be a good thing to work on and show in a video while I try and learn the process of doing this simple animation loop. Basically at this point I sketched out my character and highlighted in blue what I wanted to have move as part of the animation. I thought the feathers, the ears, the eyes, maybe some bangs of the hair, and definitely that hand was going to move because I want it to be drawing on the tablet. The next step that I'm working on at the moment is I went through and I'd already put all the line art to the background that wouldn't be moving, so I went through and drew everything of the character that wouldn't be moving. The next thing I did, you can see that I'm doing, is filling in basically all that colour. Everything that's not going to move still needs colour, so I went through and just dropped all of that in. When it comes to colouring in established characters, I like to keep a little swatches on the side of the image that I can just pick up from with the eyedropper tool. I also have really enjoyed having my avatar character having the same kind of hairstyle that I have, which means there is a lot of brown regrowth at the moment. So I basically just had to chuck that in. You can see I then had to start trying to figure out how you actually animate. And one of the first things I wanted to do was have it look like the chest was breathing. I want the hair to sway. Later on I want the ears and the feathers to twitch. I want the eyes to blink, and I want the hand to be drawing. So I do a lot of little bits where I watch it all move, trying to make sure that it all kind of looks the way I want it to. That was a very important step that I learned very early on, is if you're going to try and do an animation loop, check to make sure you like how it's looking, because if you just do all the parts of it and then look at it at the end and you don't like it, it's so hard to go back and fix it all and see how it all goes. The other thing that I thought was important to do was to zoom out and see the whole thing all together. I have this clip sped up a little bit at the moment, so it actually doesn't go that fast in the animation. You would have seen at the start, but I'll show it again at the end. But yeah, there's really not a lot to say about that animation process. I just found a guide online which kind of half made sense but also kind of didn't make sense, and I just kind of had to figure it out as I went along. When I was working on the hand, I think I got a little bit too ambitious and I didn't like the way it looked having multiple movements, so I ended up simplifying that down just to those two little twitchy back and forth. I spent a lot of time making sure that when I was making these very simple little loops, just making the opacity lower so that I could draw over the top what the next part would be, and then so much time testing. Basically here what I was doing was I was looking for a part of the animation that didn't have a lot of movement in it already, so that it looked a little more interesting, because if everything was just moving at the same time, it wouldn't have been as good, I don't think. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked the video, or if you're not subscribed, maybe consider doing those. I am trying to figure out some uploads for this year, figuring out what I want to do with the channel and what I've got time to do. So hopefully you'll be seeing more stuff very soon. And I will see you guys next time. Bye!